In this video, we're going to be talking about Gnoming A Round, a brand new card game by Grandpa Beck, and I'll be going over some of my thoughts on it and whether or not you should add this one to your collection. So to get started, we're going to discuss the price. So Gnoming A Round comes out to $15, which is the average price of most of the Grandpa Beck games. If you look at, there's two of them that are there that are Cover Your Kingdom and Antiquity Quest that are actually $25, but this one is one of the smaller games that comes out to $15. So that's definitely a really good price for some of these card games, and if you want to check it out on Amazon, there's a link in the description down below. Now, some of the fun parts about this game is the artwork. So I'll show you right here. Let's make my screen a little bit bigger. So we've got the artwork right here of the Gnoming A Round cards. The back of it is fantastic. I really enjoy what they did with those cards, as well as there are some clever nods to some of their other games. So if you look here, in the back of this one, you may not be able to see it, but in the back of that gnome's pocket is the Skull King and the Tigress cards from the game Skull King, which is super interesting that they're able to add that nod to that. As well as in this one, there is the honey for their game Bears and the Bees. And then I'm not 100% sure about this one, but I thought I heard someone say that that dog is one of the dogs from the game Nuts About Mutts. I haven't played that one as much, and so I definitely need to play it a little bit more to see if that's one of the characters from that. So moving on to some pros and cons. So one of the great things about this game, in addition to some of the other Grandpa Beck games, is the fact that they have beginner and advanced rules. So for those who want a really easygoing game that doesn't have to be super intense and people getting angry at each other, then the beginner rules are probably where you want to go. And then if you want more of a strategy type game, then you definitely want to go into more of the advanced rules, which is where I like to play. And that will make it a little bit more fun as you go along with that. So one of the cons, I put this in here just as a personal preference. I don't like games that are super luck based, and so that's why I am not the biggest fan of the beginner's rules, but that's obviously not for everybody. And then the biggest con that I can see overall, which is kind of in most card games, is the fact that it can get really frustrating when you aren't allowed to play as many cards. So there's certain rules that apply to the cards you can lay, and sometimes you can get cards that don't work, and it can get kind of frustrating if that happens to you round after round. But that would basically be the biggest con that I can see with the game. Overall, it's really fun. Let's go over. But yeah, so basically, a little bit of background. I played golf in high school, and so I really enjoy the fact that it's based around golf. I love how they have that the negative score, the lowest score, is actually the best, which fits in perfectly with golf. And it can kind of get addicting. So with the advanced rules, in addition to making sets of cards that are just like 4-4-4 or 7-7-7, you can also make ones that are in a run, so like 4-5-6, and so you can try to make some really cool combinations, and it can get really fun to try to keep playing until you get to the point where you can get the thing that you need. And finally, I would definitely recommend this game to anybody who has played any of the other Grandpa Beck games like Skull King, Cover Your Assets. This is a really fun one. And also, it's good, as I mentioned before, that if you're wanting a card game that's not too intense or crazy, definitely use the beginner's rules. And if you like strategy, then definitely use the advanced rules. And again, that's my personal favorite. I really enjoy it. But if you want to check out how to play Gnoming A Round in 2 minutes, you can check out that video over here and the Gnoming A Round playthrough right here. Thanks, guys.